that we read last week? Well, raise your hand. I love quiet hands. I love quiet hands. Layla. Huh? Anybody remember? Can someone help her out? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Monica. Nope.
More than.
Didn't hear.
More than anything else.
Yeah. You see? Yes, thank you very much. I love quiet hands, quiet voices. Yes, ma'am. Okay, well, that's okay. We don't go through it. Alrighty, so on Friday we read through the whole story and we talked about the gist of the story. Could someone remind me what the word gist means? What does that word gist mean, Aaron? Yes, the gist is what is the story? What is the story mostly about? What is the story? Mostly about.
Mostly about.
So last week on Friday we talked about who the story was about, what the character wanted, what the problem was, what challenge they faced, and the solution. How did they solve the problem? Today though, we're going to be taking a closer look at 2 of the pages in the book, because we're going to be learning about a new type of unfamiliar phrases per se. I'll get into detail about that in a second. But I just want to give you a heads up what we're about to get into. Alright, who can read this first learning target for me? Who can read this first learning target? Kalia.
I can find the meaning of
Unfamiliar.
vocabulary words and phrases.
Keep on. Including.
Signature language
In an excerpt.
and an excerpt of one thing.
So an excerpt is like a piece. Like you may have an excerpt of a passage. So that's like a small piece of the whole passage. So we're not going to be talking about the whole book today. We're going to be focused on 2 pages. So my next question for you is, what is that word? Has anyone heard, raise your hand if you've heard the word figurative language before. If it sounds a little familiar, I'm just asking you to raise your hand if you've heard it. If not, that is totally okay, because you're going to learn about it in just a second. That's all right. So, in the type of conversations that we have, there is literal language and non-literal language. So literal means if I walked up and I say, oh, I stumped my toe. What does that mean? What does that mean though? I hit my toe. But what if I say, I've got butterflies in my chest? What does that mean?
That means
I have butterflies in my chest. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. What does that mean? Jerry, what does that mean?
you're sad.
Okay, it could be, maybe. Trevor, if I got butterflies in my chest, what does that mean? Does it actually, do I actually have butterflies in my chest?
No.
No, but what do you think it means if I say that? Or if I say there's butterflies in my stomach? What is that?
Everybody comes up again.
Acuria. Ooh, I could be nervous because butterflies, they kind of flap really, I guess flap is the right word. They fly really quick, right? So when you're nervous, your heart gets a little bit higher. But does that actually mean that I have butterflies?
No.
No, right? So there's literal, like, if the words that are coming out of your mouth is the literal or real definition. If I stump my toe, I literally mean I hit my toe. But if I say, I feel like I've gotten hit by a train, did I get hit by a train?
No.
No, right? So that's what we call non-literal or figurative language, okay? It's things the author uses to help us better understand what we're reading, okay? Who can read that second learning target for me? Also, can we please sit on our bottoms? Thank you, thank you. Second learning target, Monty, go ahead.
I can explain how the central
Message.
message or moral is confirmed,
Convey.
conveyed through details and spread of the text.
Okay, can Can somebody remind me, what is the central message? What is the central message? If I ask you, what is the central message of this story? What am I asking you for, Angel?
What is the story mostly about?
So that's the gist. So you're close. We use the gist to find the central message. What is the central message? If I'm asking you to find the central message of the story, what am I asking? What? The lesson, what the author wants us to learn from reading this, right? Typically the central message doesn't involve a character's name. It's something we can go home and tell our parents about, our friends about, a lesson that we learned. For example, in The Boy Who Cried Wolf, the lesson was, if you keep lying, people are going to stop believing you, or be honest, right? So we're going to be going through that today. So, now, I know some of you don't have the paper, but that's okay because you guys did a really good job with recounting the story. So what I'm going to ask you to do right now, in just a second, when I say go but not yet, so when I say go but not yet, you are going to get with somebody around you, and you're going to recount the story of More Than Anything Else. There's some of you that was absent, so people like Aaron, that is the perfect opportunity to let her know what this story is about. So you're telling your partner, who was the character? What did the character want? What was the problem? What was the solution? You're gonna get 1 minute, and then the other partner is gonna go, okay? So go ahead and stand up for me. Stand up for me. Stand by someone. We're not going across the carpet. We're getting with somebody around us. The first partner is gonna get 1 minute. Layla, you can go with me. And then Aaron, you wanna go with Jadir? I think Jadir, are you by yourself? Okay, you can go back there, Aaron.
Okay. What about Timothy? Okay. Yay.
All right, so the first person, I'm gonna give you 1 minute to tell your partner about the story. You're gonna tell them the character, the character, what was the problem? What did the character want? How was it solved? Okay, 1 minute. I know she's just listening. She's just listening. Y'all can do it in Spanish. That would be great if you could. Alrighty. Your 1 minute has begun. Go ahead.
He wanted to learn. He like saw like and everybody was listening when he was playing. And what was the
Oh, I hear good conversation from Akira.
And he told his mom, "Can I please have a book?" And she took the book out from the luncher and she gave he learned the letters. He said,
all right, the next partner. Finish the story, or you can say it again in your own words. Tell me about what Booker, the character in the story, wanted, what challenge they faced, and the solution. You got 1 minute. Let's go.
he said, of course, she gave it to her started writing her That's really good. And then he went back to the news and
When you are done, please come back to your square on the carpet. Well, here's some good conversation over here. Let me count some of this. All right, go ahead and head back to your area in 5, 4. Thank you for moving quietly. Make sure you're in a square, 1 square on the carpet. 3. 2. And 1. Really quickly, raise your hand. Who was the character in the story? Raise your hand. Ooh, Amari. Booker. Okay, what did Booker want? Raise your hand. Raise your hand, Jesse. He wanted to learn to read and write. But what was the problem? Someone raise your hand. What was the problem? Ooh, Kalia. He didn't know his ABCs. Okay, I need a little bit more detail than that. A little bit. What was the problem? What challenge was he facing in the story? Layla. So he had to work and he couldn't go to school. Who can tell me why was he not able to go to school? What was going on? Why was he not able to go to school, Angel?
Because he couldn't read.
Nope, not quite.
Oh,
Let me rephrase the question. Why was he not allowed to go to school? Why was he not allowed to go to school, Trevor?
Because there were no schools.
Nope. Come on, I need the golden answer here.
I tried to tell you that.
Why? He was a slave, right? Okay, so that was the problem. How did they solve the problem? How was he able to learn to read and write? What was the solution to that problem, Didier?
His mom gave him a book, and he read it, and then he write the ABC on the dirt.
Okay, so did the book teach him how to do that?
No.
Raise your hands. Raise your hands. Who or what taught him how to read and write? Raise your hand. I love quiet hands. Duryea.
His mom had different mistakes.
Okay. That's what they just said. So we're moving forward. I need one more detail. I'm missing one itty bitty piece. Amari. The newspaper man, right? So today what we're going to be doing, if you're not already on page 68, I would love for you to be there. Page 68, 68. Oh. Will you come to the car, please? Thank you. You're not a good decision, sir. So, obviously I have the book right here in front of me, but I don't have a copy for each of you. So, what I did was, the words that we're going to be focused on, the sentences, the paragraphs we're going to be focused on are on page 68. Everybody point to the first word on page 68. The first word on page 68. That is not the first word. The first word. All right. So, the first page we're going to be studying, and I'll show you the first page so you get a little idea. It's up here. You guys obviously don't have it in your hands, but you can see it here, and the words are on your page. So this is just a little introduction. I'm going to read you the paragraphs we're going to be focused on, and then we'll take a deep dive into it to better understand these paragraphs. Thumbs up if you got me. Thumbs up if you're ready to learn. I'm missing a few thumbs. Missing a few thumbs. All right, so it says, after work, even though my shoulders still ache and my legs are stained with salt, I study my book. I stare at the marks and try to imagine their song. I draw the marks on the dirt floor and try to figure out what sounds they make, what story their picture tells. But sometimes I feel like I'm trying to jump without legs, and my thoughts get slippery and I can't keep up with what I want to be and how good I will feel when I learn this magic and how people will look up to me. I can't catch the tune of what I see. I get a salt shoveling pain and feel my dreams are slipping away. I have got to find him, that newspaper man. So I have over here, what does it mean that his legs are stained with salt? What does that mean? What does the author want to take away from that? Close your eyes. I want you to picture that. Somebody's legs stained with salt. Okay, raise your hand. What may that look like? What may that look like, Angel?
Because he would look like that wasn't soft and he could have things like salt.
So, yeah, we know that he works with salt. That's all he did all day. But what does it mean that if he's stained with salt? What does that mean, Jesse? He has salt everywhere. And what did we learn about what could happen when you work in those areas? What could happen? Is it a safe place to be? Is it not a safe place to be? What did we learn, Trevor? Eyes on me.
That you can get stained with stuff that you're working with.
So, yep. And what did we learn about salt? If you're barefoot and you got shorts on, what could happen to your skin, Kim?
It can stick, the salt can stick to your skin, then your skin will be itchy.
Itchy, it can cut us up, right? So it says his legs are stained with salt, and we learned in the story that this job was really hard. They're shoveling heavy salt into barrels, so their shoulders are aching. Their legs are stained with salt. They have salt all over them, cuts, because the salt can cut you up. Okay? So, all right, so we're going to be taking a look at a deep dive into this first page, okay? You can see the page up here. Don't worry about those questions right now. So, my first question, I'm going to reread it one more time. It says, after work, even though my shoulders still ache and my legs are stained with salt, I study my book. I stare at the marks and try to imagine their song. So during this, what is the challenge that Booker is facing? What is the challenge? What is the problem right now that he is facing? What is the problem? Adam, what's the problem that he's facing right now?
He's facing that he doesn't know how to read.
Okay.
Right?
So he doesn't know how to read or write. So why is he having to work? It says after work. Why is he having to work? Right hands, Layla. He's a slave. And are slaves allowed to go to school?
No.
No, right? So it says he studies the marks. What marks? It says he studies the book trying to figure out the marks. What marks is he talking about? What do we call those marks?
Alphabet.
The alphabet or
Letters.
letters. The ABC's letters. Okay. And then it says on here. Sorry, I'm gonna borrow your workbook again. It says, I stare at the marks and try to imagine their song. What song is he talking about? Didier.
When he said the ABCs, he's like A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Yeah, and I know we're not going back to that page today, but right before this page, is when the mom gives Booker the book and says, I think this is called the alphabet, and I think it may have a song, right? And what song is that?
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me?
Good job, thank you. Okay. So he knows that he wants to imagine a song. Right now he doesn't know what song it is, but he knows it's some type of song. He's trying to figure it out. So just by those sentences, how do we know that reading is new to Booker? What tells us in those two sentences, what words tell us that reading is new to Booker? He hasn't done this before. What tells us it's new to him? Like in the first paragraph. What part of those sentences tells us that it's new to him? It says, after work, even though my shoulders still ache and my legs are stained with salt, I study my book. I stare at the marks and try to imagine their songs. How do we know that Booker doesn't know the alphabet?
He never because he was always working all day long and putting in the barrel.
Okay. Can you else tell me some exact words from that first paragraph on page 68 that kind of shows us that he doesn't know how to read? Line it up, please. Aaron.
So
The exact words. Remember, go back to the text.
what shows us. He says, so first, this one I see, he studies his book.
He studies his book. Yep.
And he stares at the marks and tries to read the songs.
Yeah. Do we call the alphabet marks?
No.
What do we call them?
A, B, C.
Or
Letters.
letters, right? Or maybe words. Yep. So if he's calling them marks, do you think he's familiar with those terms? ABCs, alphabet,
No.
letters, right? And how do we know that it's challenging for him?
Because he's saying that he's studying it.
You're so right, but I love a quiet hand. I'm gonna give you one more chance. Can you raise your hand? Thank you, Kimberly. What were you gonna say?
Because he's saying that they're saying that he's studying it.
He's studying it. Do we study things that we already know?
No.
No, right? So, my next question for you is, how do we know that it's something he really wants to do? Again, based on those first two sentences, that first paragraph, how do we know that learning to read is important? What in the text shows us and proves that it's important to him? Trevor.
Because he hasn't read it or read before.
Okay. Now remember, we're going back in the text. Look at the words. The first paragraph. What word shows us that he is really determined to learn to read and write? What words, Akiria?
Study and trying.
Okay. Now I have a question for you. Raise your hand if you've ever, when you get home, you've had the longest day, you're exhausted, and you don't want to do your homework.
Everybody.
Right? Me too. Teachers have homework too. So typically, if something's very important to you, right? Are you gonna do it still?
No.
If something, even if you're tired, are you still gonna do it?
Yes.
No. Yes, right? If something is important, you're still going to do it because it matters to you. It is very important to you. So let's go back to what I was saying before. Was Booker's work easy? When he went to go with his dad and his brother, was it easy? No, but it says even after work, after his shoulders hurt and his legs are all cut up and stained with salt, he still studies his book. Do you think that is important to him then? Yeah, right? Because if it wasn't important, he'd probably just go home and sleep. Play with his brother. I don't know. Right? But because he's saying that his body hurts, he's all cut up and stained with salt, and he still is going home to study his book and try to focus on what these marks are. So, we're going to take a really deep dive into one sentence. Are you ready? You got your binoculars on?
No.
Well, you better get them on.
Please.
All right. So, Didier, will you read this sentence out loud for me?
But sometimes I feel like I am trying to jump without legs.
Beautiful, beautiful. So we're going to take a deep dive into this because this is an example of figurative language. So we're going to kind of figure out what does the author mean by this. So we're going to take a look at these red words. Okay? Autumn, read me these red words for me, please. Sometimes. So, but sometimes. So, what is the meaning of the word sometimes? What does that mean? Your binoculars are off for right now. What does that mean by sometimes, Monty?
What he means is that the word sometimes was it the phrase.
No, don't look at this. What does the word sometimes mean?
Sometimes that something I read.
Okay. Now, what two words are in sometimes?
Two.
Which two words? Though?
Some-
Monica.
Sometimes.
Some and a time.
Sometimes. So if I were to draw this, if never is over here, what is the opposite of never?
Never.
Never or
Ever.
you never do something, if you do it all the time, then you do it
Always.
always. Yes.
Never.
All right, I need you back. 3, 2, and 1. Thank you. Where would sometimes go on this? Raise your hands. Where would I put sometimes on this line? Where would I put sometimes, Layla? No, on this line between never and always, where would sometimes go? In the middle. Because if you break apart sometimes, it means some of the time, right? Is it always?
No.
Is it never?
No.
It's right in the middle. It's sometimes.
Sometimes I ever heard that.
How do you say sometimes in Spanish?
A veces.
Hold on. One person. Layla. A veces.
A veces.
Okay, learning something new. All right, we're going to look at the next chunk of words. Again, I need everyone facing the front on their bottoms. We're not playing with anything. No, ma'am. Let's look at these words. Angel, can you read me those purple words for me? I feel like. Who is I?
Me.
Raise your hand. Who is that I? Who is talking? Daenerys. Okay, but in this story, who is I? Booker, right? Booker is telling this story. So the words feel like are words that we use to help people understand the way that we're feeling. So like I said before, I may say, I feel like I could sleep for days. What does that mean? How am I feeling? If I say I could sleep for days. Sleepy, tired. I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. Or if I say, I feel happy, so I feel like a shining sun. You'll understand because sunshines are bright and brilliant, right? So when we use the words feel like, it helps the people listening to us or reading the things that we're writing get more of an understanding of what we're feeling. Okay? Now, the blue words. Daenerys. I am trying to jump. I want you to stand up. I want you to stand up. Everybody stand up, please, and thank you. Thank you. So what does Booker feel like he is doing? He's trying to jump. I want everybody to make one big jump. 1, 2, 3. Quiet. What is that? Was that easy or hard?
Yes.
It was easy, right? I want you to stay standing. I need you quiet. Okay, that was easy, right? If I tell you to jump 10 times, don't do it, but you could do it. Easy, no problem. Now, without legs. Okay, so my question is, pretend the bottom half of your body is not there. How would jumping be? Would it be easy or hard? This is what I want you to do. One time, quietly. Eyes on me. I want you to, without moving your toes, without moving your ankles, without moving your knees, I want you to see if you can jump. Can you jump? No, you're moving your toes. You can't jump. Because you need your knees and your legs and your ankles, your toes, all of those things. All right, now you got your one chance. Back to me. 3, 2, and 1. Have a seat. Thank you. Quietly. So, if you didn't have legs, it's almost impossible to jump.
I know, right?
It's impossible. Right? So it says the words without. What 2 words are in the word without? Raise your hand. 1.
With and out.
Love to see it. What does it mean to be without something? Raise your hand. Kalia, what does it mean to be without something? If you are without something, what does that mean?
You feel like lonely.
Okay, you may feel lonely if you don't have something, or you're without something. Layla.
That
You don't have it. You are not with it. If I say, I am without my dog, am I with my dog?
No.
No, I am without it, right?
I'm without my legs.
So what does Booker feel like he is trying to do without legs?
Jump.
He's trying to jump.
Without
Okay.
legs.
And so we realized that jumping without legs is very challenging. It's very challenging. It is not easy moving forward. Okay, dear baby, I need you.
If you didn't have no
So, if reading makes him feel like he is trying to jump without legs, how does he feel about reading? How does he feel about reading? Raise your hand. How does he feel about reading? Raise your hand. Raise your hand, Monica.
feel like
Say it again.
he's right there with no he's excited, but he's only reading.
So he's excited about it, but if if it feels like when he's reading or trying to read, he can't jump. It feels like he's trying to jump without legs. How does he feel about it? Do you think he feels frustrated? Do you think he feels happy? Sad? Do you think this is easy for him? Challenging? Raise your hand. What do you think some words or some feelings he's going through when he's trying to read? If he feels like he's trying to jump without legs. Timothy, stop. What does that feel like? What does that feel like, Angel? If you're trying to jump without legs, are you going to feel happy about that? No, right? Now we realize jumping without legs is not easy. So what is Booker saying? If he's trying to read, it feels like he's jumping without legs. Trevor, what does that mean?
He's confused.
Yeah, that's really confusing. He doesn't know what's going on. What else? What else? What else? Akira.
He's nervous.
He's nervous? Is it easy to him?
No.
No. He's saying it's hard. It feels impossible because no one's there to teach him.
Nobody has been jumped with that list.
So, all right. Now, we're going to take a look at this second page. I'm going to show you a quick picture of it. Angel. All right. So this is the second page. I know you see the picture, but I want to show you the big picture of it. Okay. Here's the big picture. You're quiet. Your eyeballs are on me. Can I see that, Kalia, please? May I have that? You can have it back later. Okay. You see the picture? I know you can't see it on yours, so I wanted to show you it. So you had it in your brain. Did you see the picture? Okay, so it says, I draw the marks on the dirt floor and try to figure out what sounds they make, what story their picture tells. But sometimes I feel like I am trying to jump without legs, and my thoughts get slippery, and I can't keep up with what I want to be, and how good I will feel when I learn this magic, and how people will look up to me. I can't catch the tune of what I see. I get a salt shoveling pain and feel my dreams are slipping away. I have got to find him, the newspaper man. Wow. So, when your shoe is slippery or the floor is slippery, what does that mean?
You can.
Oh. Quiet hands, Monty. Do you? What does your shoe look like? Yeah, you did slip and fall a second ago. Is your foot staying one place?
No.
Is it staying? Is it moving around?
Yeah.
Right. So when it's slippery, it's not staying in one place. It's moving around. You have no control over it. If you're slipping on ice, if you're slipping on a puddle of water, or slipping in mud, you have no control about what happens. So in the story, it says, my thoughts get slippery and I can't keep keep up with what I want to be. What do you think it means by slippery thoughts? What does it mean for slippery? What do you think it means? If I say I have slippery thoughts, what do you think that means? Amari, what do you think that means? What's your best guess? My thoughts are slippery, Amari. He can't think of something. Okay, when something is slippery, okay, you can't keep track of it. What else, Layla?
Like his,
Are you ready? Oh, yeah, it's getting out of control in his brain, right? Do you think his thoughts are clear?
No.
No, he's probably, like we were saying, confused, frustrated, Autumn. Confused, frustrated. They're not staying in one place. So let's look at this sentence. I can't catch the tune of what I see. I get a salt shoveling pain and feel my dreams are slipping away. What does that mean he can't catch the tune? What do you typically catch the tune of? What do you usually catch the tune of? When do you hear the word tune? When it comes to what, Durian? What do you hear the word tune with? Music. And how does music connect to what we were just talking about? What has music? What has a tune? What has a Durian, what has the tune? Okay, but in the story that we're talking about, what in the story would have a tune that he's trying to figure out? I see it. I see your brain moving. What's something that he's learning about that would have a tune, would have a song to it?
Your voice? You're moving your body?
Your ABCs, right? So, he says he can't, he's trying to catch the tune. He can't catch the tune because does he know how the song goes?
No.
No, right? No one's ever taught him. Because he's a slave and can't what? Go to school. Keep adding on to my collections. All right. So then it says, I get a salt shoveling pain and feel my dreams are slipping away. What does he mean that his dreams are slipping away? We talked about the word slippery. What does it mean that his dreams are slipping away? Jadir, what do you think?
I think it means that they're going away.
That they're going away. Okay, I love that. Kim.
That his dreams are like not staying in one place, they're moving around.
Yes, right? What is something else that you may feel that's slippery?
Slime.
Slime.
Ice.
I guess it's sticky, but it can't be slippery. Ice.
Banana.
Soap.
Banana peel. Water. Banana peel.
Soap. Banana peels. A slide. Now, when you're holding, think about a wet soap, like a wet bar of soap. Is it easy to hold?
No.
Right? So again, we're back to when something is slippery, it doesn't stay where it needs to stay, right? So just like Jadir and Kim said, it seems like his dreams are going away. Do you think he feels like he can reach those dreams right now? No, right?
He moved around.
So, and then he ends this by saying, I have got to find him, that newspaper man. Why does he have to find the newspaper man? I love quiet hands. I love quiet hands. Why does he need to find the newspaper man? Timothy, why does he need to find the newspaper man? So he can learn the alphabet. What else did he want to do? What else did he want to learn? Amari.
How to read.
How to read. How to write.
How to say like.
So, we talked about how Booker feels like he's trying to jump without legs. Who is going to give him those legs to read? Raise your hand. I love quiet hands. I love quiet hands so much. I love quiet. Who is going to give him those legs to be able to feel confident? Who is going to give him those legs? Aaron.
The newspaper
The
man.
newspaper newspaper man, because what can the newspaper man do for him?
Because he's going to give them a newspaper and they got so much work.
Okay, but what is, yes, so the newspaper man is gonna do what? Help him do what?
Help him jump.
Is he actually trying to jump them?
No.
Yes, so jump in this is really him trying to figure out how to read. So the newspaper man is gonna be able to help him learn how to read. You with me?
Yeah.
Stay with me? You guys are doing great.
I'm raising my hand.
So, Booker struggles to learn how to read even when it's tough. Has he given up his dreams?
No.
Ooh, I know that hurt. Are you okay?
Yeah.
So, does he ever give up?
No.
No, right? So what can we learn from this story? Raise your hand. What central message? What lesson can we learn from reading this story? Think about it. I want you to think about it. I want you to turn and talk. Can y'all come forward so you don't hit your heads, please? I want you to turn and talk by someone around you. And I want you to talk about what lesson, what message, what could we learn from reading this story about Booker? I want you on your bottoms. Please and thank you. All right, I'm going to give you just a second. I'm going to come around and listen to your conversations because I just know that somebody is going to say the perfect central message. What could we learn from reading this story?
Can I tell you the central message? I already told her it. I told you it. The central
What did you learn from reading this story?
Él nunca se dio por vencido.
Huh? Okay, what do you think?
That people help people read, that other people can help other people
Okay, so what lessons kind of what if it's hard or you use them back and down, still try to get better at it?
Remember, let me give you guys a hint. The central message does not ever talk about the character. You will never hear the character's name in a central message because it's a lesson that you can apply to life. So, in the central message, I should not be hearing Booker because that is not the lesson that we learn. What did we learn from Booker's actions? I'm going to give you guys like 30 more seconds while I come around and we are going to circle back up. We're not playing games, so whoever did that for me.
I learned
Nope. See? What can you learn from what Booker did?
tried to learn.
Nope. What can you learn?
And
What can you learn
he
about life?
learned that to
So reading is what? Okay.
Never give up.
All right. Thank you guys. I heard some really good work. I would love for you to move back to your square on the carpet, on your